Welcome to Mythical Phylogeny Adventures. I'm your guide Jason. We've spoken about many monsters and how to best them, be it dragons, sea monsters, or sentient races. But we do need to look at the tools of combat, and in particular, what your weapons are going to be made from. Fantasy and science fiction is loaded with magical metals. Usually, it is stronger than steel and light as a feather. Probably the most famous is Oricalum, also spelled Oricalum. It is written about by Plato, and is said to be the second most valuable metal, only gold was worth more. It was said to be mined in Atlantis. It had a golden or reddish color, and was used to decorate their temples. But due to the destruction of Atlantis, all of it was lost. So by Plato's time, Oricalum was only a myth, a historic claim which none can confirm. Okay, well that sounds like so many stories about lost treasures and whatnot, doesn't it? Well, what do we know about it? And there's a bunch of theories. Based on the naming concept, Oricalum would literally translate as mountain copper. But with Roman translations, we get gold copper. There is a rose gold, which is an alloy made of copper and gold. There's a few other proposed mixtures come from Greek literature, mostly copper and tin, which is bronze, and another being copper and zinc, which is brass. And there's a problem with both of those options. Plato says that Oricalum is a lost material that no one knows how to make or mine it. And well, both bronze and brass were widely used throughout all of Greece and the rest of the world. And that is also a problem with the rose gold version. Well yes, rose gold isn't as valuable as pure gold, but again, it is something the Greeks could have created. Now, I will admit that there are a collection of ancient Greek ingots found off the coast of Sicily, which were speculated to be an Oricalum shipment. But these are from around 2,100 years ago. And there's the issue. They aren't old enough to be from Atlantis. There is some debate on when Atlantis sank, most saying about 9 to 10,000 years ago. But I've also seen many saying that it wasn't as long ago, as the date was the result of a translation error. Regardless, Plato was born between 428-423 BC and died in either 348 or 347 BC, which means he's older than these metal ingots. So no, these ingots are not from Atlantis, and probably shouldn't be used as an estimate of what Oricalum was made from. I guess these are forgeries then. And there's a bit more on this. Supposedly, the Roman Empire claimed to have made Oricalum coins. Of course, this was from a much later time than Atlantis, so probably just people making the claim that these are Oricalum coins when they are not. You know, blacksmiths are going around and claiming that they can create the legendary metal. Oh, they'd make a fortune so long as no one discovered it. There was even a story about gold coins being stolen and replaced with Oricalum ones with no one noticing. Yet there is one option which might work, and that is platinum. It is a rare metal with a silvery color. Okay, so it doesn't match the gold color of Oricalum, but it does match many of the other traits. It was said to have been mined, not made. That is a big one. Platinum is mined, and platinum mines are few and far between. And there might be a reason that the Greeks couldn't make or use Oricalum. Platinum melts at 3,215 degrees Fahrenheit or 1,768.3 degrees Celsius. And why is that important? Well, ancient Greek forges were estimated to top out at 2,800 degrees Fahrenheit, 1,537 degrees Celsius. So a fair bit too short of what it would take to melt platinum to create ingots and objects. Atlantis was said to be an advanced civilization and was the marvel of the world. Good chance that it could fit. So what made Oricalum so valuable? Well, a brilliant metal with either a gold or a reddish color. So, same as gold and silver in reality. But there might be another one. Some speculate that it held some divine influences. Yes, it was heavily used in making temples and decorating statues of gods. We may never know what it was made out of, though I don't think it was really the same metal as the ingots, or as bronze and brass. Either the rose gold or platinum arguments do seem to make the most sense. Is there a solution which I haven't touched on? Let me know. But that wasn't the only mythical material to come from Greek mythology. We also have adamant, or adamantine. This is a material used in multiple weapons, including those used to slay the Ophiuchus. It was a substance used by the gods and titans. Kronos was known to have a sickle made from it. Additionally, the gates of Tartarus are made of this material, so that none can break them, neither god nor mortal. We know Hephaestus could work with it, and when he was tasked with making something to last, this was his go-to material. Now, adamant comes from adamas, which meant diamond. And you might have noticed, I have never called it a metal. For some speculate it was diamonds and not a metal, which can be carved and shaped into whatever you need, though others do claim it was a metal. But here's the thing, adamant could roughly also mean diamond tough, or nearly unbreakable. So, not the strongest connection. Oddly enough, adamant was also used for magnetic lodestones in the Middle Ages, which could also add to its supernatural status. Overall, this one doesn't have as much historical context about it, and is more of an adjective for being tough, which is turned into a mythical metal. It is similar to the word vorpal. But I would speculate that this might be some sort of alloy, which could have used diamonds. Steel, for example, comes from iron mixed with carbon, and what are diamonds made of? This mythical metal is also the inspiration of adamantium from X-Men in Marvel Comics. Probably the most famous to you is mithril, and this one doesn't come from mythology, but from the writings of the esteemed J.R.R. Tolkien. I've said it many times, he is easily the father of our modern fantasy. It is said to be like silver, but tougher than steel. It is used to make armor and weapons, ones that won't break or tarnish. Mithril was worth 10 times that of gold, so probably more valuable than Oricalum. It had grown more scarce in the Third Age of Middle-earth. Finally, only Moria was the place to mine it. And well, that place fell to the goblins, and the dwarves abandoned it, making the price of mithril skyrocket. It was also found on Numenor, but that land was sunk to the bottom of the ocean. That sounds familiar. So was mithril inspired by Oricalum? Well, no. For those who know Tolkien, much of his work draws more from Norse mythology. In their writings, there are plenty of examples of elves and dwarves creating armor which is impenetrable. Okay, let's be honest, every single culture in mythology has legends about impenetrable armor. So that isn't even close to being unique. But this armor is made by elves and dwarves, similar to Tolkien's. Yet Norse mythology doesn't name magical metals. They mostly use gold, silver, and steel. Though, they still have a few mentions of mythical substances that they use. Though, I have not been able to find anything I would consider a solid description of it, except that it is nearly indestructible. This material sounds like it should be similar to adamantine. Potentially both draw from an earlier material lost to history. Oh, we aren't even talking about all the random ones we see in science fiction. Literally every science fiction series invents its own special metal, which also follows mithril, as in light and durable. Okay, this one isn't really fantasy and mythology, but is rooted in them. And that is weapons made from ore taken from meteors. This is metal from the heavens, and often believed to possess magic powers. Usually, this is just iron ore, and it is the hype more than anything else. Still, it's a bit of a flux to have such a rare metal for your weapon, is it not? There is a few others, which I have heard of, but haven't been able to find mythical contexts, such as Hihi Irokane, coming from Japan. It is supposedly a glowing flame-colored metal, and follows the trope of being harder than diamonds. It also doesn't rust. Well, I have found some claiming that this is mythological, but I can't find any hard lines to prove it. So take it with a few grains of salt. This does sound a lot like Oricalum, doesn't it? It is a similar color, though of different durability, but likely the same. There are also claims that this is a divine metal. Regardless, please take this section with some extra scrutiny. Oh, there are several others I didn't mention too. It should come as no surprise that when people are creating ideas of things, they also add in super powerful metals, one superior to what we find in the mortal realm. It helps to justify the superior materials used by gods and heroes, ones which wield magic powers to boot. It shouldn't come as any surprise that people make them up. I mean, people always fantasize about making something better, and having a better material could easily fit that idea. Thank you for watching, adventurers. Please return next time. Until then, I'll see you on the roads.